What if I were to tell you that the prophecy of global awakening is failing because we are missing the most important piece? There is a third bird, and it lives in your throat. Most people understand the condor eagle prophecy. They treat it like folklore or symbolism or something poetic that belongs to another time. This prophecy is not about the past, it is about right now. And there's a piece of it that almost no one talks about. There's a third bird. So peace doesn't come from choosing the heart or the mind. And that is the mistake that we have all been making. Hey there, I am Jessa. I am a South American trained shaman. I have been working with Amazon plant medicine and Andean spiritual cosmology for nearly a decade. I'm also a tantra coach, an alchemist, a channel, and an all around cosmic witch. So let's talk about it. So, my invitation is to look around. The world is polarized: emotions versus logic, heart versus mind, empathy versus ideology, right versus wrong, feelings versus facts. People are being asked constantly to pick a side. And honestly, it's exhausting because no matter which side you choose, something essential gets amputated. You either feel everything and drown in it, or you understand everything and disconnect from your body. The moment is not asking you to choose sides, it is asking us to integrate. Have you ever been in that place where you felt torn between what you knew and what you felt? And that felt risky. It felt risky to speak your truth. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The prophecy doesn't describe a battle, it describes a return to that balance. Before I get any deeper into this, I want to orient you because not everybody watching this video will know what the Condor and Eagle prophecy actually is or where it comes from. So, this prophecy does not come from the internet, and it does not come from modern spirituality, and it is not a single written text. It comes from the Andean indigenous cosmology, particularly among the Quechua and the Aymara people of South America. It is an oral teaching. It is passed through generations, woven into ceremonies, into land relationship, and an understanding of time that moves in cycles, not lines. So there isn't one official version, and there are many different tellings, but the core message is consistent. The prophecy speaks about a long period of imbalance in the world, followed by a time of return. It describes two great forces of human consciousness, one represented by the condor, the bird of the south. It represents the earth, the body, the heart, feeling. It is relational wisdom. And one other bird that is represented by the eagle, the bird of the north. This is the sky, the mind, the intellect. It is knowledge, information, and strategy. According to the prophecy, there was a time when the eagle would rise, when logic, domination, extraction, and intellect would overshadow the wisdom of the earth. And the condor, the ways of the body, the heart, the land, the indigenous knowing would be suppressed. Many people associate this period with colonization, with industrialization, and the severing of humans from land, body, and spirit. But the prophecy does not end there. It speaks of a turning point, a time when the condor rises again, when the eagle descends, and when they are meant to fly together. This is the line that most people have heard. When the condor and the eagle fly together, humanity will awaken. But here's the part that often gets lost. This prophecy is not about choosing heart over mind, and it is not about rejecting intellect for emotion. It is about integrating the two. And that's where most modern interpretations stop, right at the symbol, without asking how integration actually happens. How do they come together? And that is what we're going to talk about next. The condor of the South knows how to feel, it knows how to grieve, it knows how to stay close to life itself. And its gifts are empathy, reverence, devotion, deep relational attunement. But the condor has a shadow. Without balance, the condor collapses. It's emotional flooding, overwhelm, losing discernment in the name of compassion, feeling everything without movement. The eagle comes from the north, and it represents perspective, the mind, knowledge, strategy. The eagle sees clearly, it zooms out, it organizes reality. And the gifts of the eagle are clarity, vision, structure, pattern recognition. But the eagle also has a shadow. It's dissociation, superiority, disembodiment, understanding everything without contact. When eagle dominates, we talk about life instead of living it. And there is a third bird. This is the bird that is most often forgotten. And I want to take a moment to slow down here because this is the part that was almost erased. And I want to add an important clarification here. Years ago, about 6 years back, one of my teachers spoke to me directly about the third bird of this prophecy. This wasn't something I read online, and it wasn't something I pieced together intellectually or through ceremonies. It was shared with me in the way that many Indigenous teachings are shared through relationship, through conversation, and through oral transmission. That is important to name because these teachings don't live in books. They live in people. They live in our elders. They live in the wisdom keepers. They live in our guides. In moments where knowledge is passed quietly without spectacle. And not every lineage names things the same way. Not every teacher is going to speak every layer publicly, and not everything is meant to be taught all at once or to everyone. So when I speak of a third bird, I am not claiming to define the prophecy universally. I am sharing what was entrusted to me within a very specific relational context and what I've since come to understand through my own lived experience. Some traditions name this integrating force explicitly, some simply imply it, and some leave it completely unspoken. What matters is not the name, it's the function. Because without the bridge between the heart and the mind, without voice, breath, and truth moving into action, integration does not happen. So when I speak of the third bird, I am honoring a teaching that was passed to me, and I am naming a function that this moment in history is asking us to embody, not to believe, not to agree with, but to live. The third bird is the Quetzal, and the Quetzal represents the throat. It represents voice, expression, your truth in motion, your truth in action. And here is the core teaching. Heart feels, mind understands, voice moves. Without the throat, the heart collapses under its own weight, and the mind dominates without accountability. Action becomes frozen. Nothing changes without opening our voice. We have all been in these situations where we will know something and we will feel it very deeply, and we choose not to speak up. Sometimes it is because we are afraid of the fallout. But in my experience, what I have seen again and again is that fallout will come regardless. It is important to understand why the throat was silenced. This matters especially for women. The throat was not silenced accidentally. It was silenced through punishment, through exile, through ridicule, through violence, because voice disrupts control. If people can speak truth from embodiment, systems lose power. So the throat was shamed. It was mocked. It was called hysterical. It was called aggressive, and it has been called dangerous. Silencing the throat is how systems maintain order. And that silencing still lives in our bodies. We experience it with tight draws, with held breath, self editing before we even speak. Let's be really clear about this. Liberation of the throat does not mean yelling. It does not mean posting constantly. It does not mean confrontation for its own sake. It does not mean adding to the noise that already exists. True throat liberation is coherence. It is timing. It is implementing choice. It is embodying the truth of who you are. It's speaking when something is true. And it is staying silent when silence is true. Not because you're afraid, but because you are owning your sovereignty. I want to give you some very simple ways to begin accessing and liberating your voice. One thing you can do is speak one true sentence a day, not the whole story. One true sentence that just hasn't been said before. I want you to start to notice where you self censor, especially in moments when you're trying to keep the peace. And I want you to track your body. What happens when you speak truth? How does it feel? And what happens when you swallow it? Your nervous system will tell you what alignment actually feels like. So here's the vision that I want to leave you with. Peace does not arrive through agreement. It arrives through coherence. When heart, mind, and voice align, action becomes inevitable. You will automatically know the next right step. It is not forced and it is not chaotic. It is inevitable. And the world doesn't need louder voices. It just needs truer ones. Hey, so if this resonated, visit my website at jessafreimeyer.com to explore upcoming courses, free offerings, and don't forget to click the buttons. New videos on spiritual leadership, desire alchemy, and embodied transformation every week. See you next time.